You got Ohio State hosting Tennessee the first round of the college football playoff. Hey, don't get it twisted now. This is the best game of round one. And the seeds indicate that. I think the logos indicate that. I think the matchups indicate that. Like, there's a lot of other great games. I'm excited for all of them. This is the one, though, you have circled, underlined, starred, and highlighted. There's a reason now, I believe, why this is the Saturday night primetime game. So I know the folks in Columbus, another noon kick. I mean, we love Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson, but another noon kick, you got a night game. Bring it. We'll talk about it right now. Make sure you are subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. Want to hear your thoughts on this one? So the best way for me to hear from y'all is by being subscribed. Also follow me on the social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, at JD PicKell. So we're going to give you our prediction in this game here a little bit later on this channel. Another reason to be subscribed. But in this video, let's just kind of take an early look at just the variables going into this one. There might be no more of a massive variable than the vibes right now in Columbus. That sounds funny to say because vibes don't win football games, but I tell you what, they can lose you a football game. And let's start with how they are internally right now in Columbus. I don't pretend to know. I don't. And I've seen the Ohio State operation under Ryan Day take a loss to Michigan and then bounce back in a massive way in a semifinal game against Georgia and take them to the freaking wire and have a chance to win the darn thing with a field goal, or at least I think push it to overtime. Bottom line, they were right there with who was the eventual national champion. All right, so let's make sure that's clear. However, this is the fourth time in a row they've lost to Michigan. I think it's fair to question where the psyche's at. Because if Ohio State rolls out there and they're a little bit lackluster, they're a little bit woe is me, they're still trying to flush the Michigan issue they had in that game. Like, this is not going to be a situation where you get a quarter and a half to roll into it. This is not a game now where you get to acclimate for the first half and get it going in the second half. Like, Tennessee, make no mistake about it, they can do what Michigan did. We'll talk about that more in a second. I think the vibe also needs to be checked within that fan base in Columbus. Like, y'all, you're hosting a playoff game in the shoe at night. If there was ever a chance to circle the wagons and rally the troops, this is that spot, man. This is that spot because you have a chance now with a first-year starting quarterback who's from the West Coast to impact this game a little bit. I mentioned the West Coast because it's going to be cold in Columbus, man. I don't know exactly what the forecast is yet for that game. It will not be very inviting. Now, granted, Tennessee's a little bit cold this time of year too. The bottom line here is if you're going to this game and you're an Ohio State fan, bring the juice, man. The Michigan game is the Michigan game. You have a chance to flush all of that by going on a run in this college football playoff, winning a national championship. Then you're like, yeah, the Michigan loss still hurts, but like, hey, this national title trophy feels a lot better. It's not a bad way to feel better about things in Columbus. So that's massive. The vibes, it's funny to say, but I think it's going to have a massive impact on this game with Ohio State, how they roll into it. You can't have a situation now where, oh, I don't like that third down call, I'm going to boo Ryan Day, I'm going to boo Will Howard, I'm going to boo Chip Kelly. No, we can't keep reliving the Michigan situation. It's got to be everyone's dialed in, let's get it going, let's move forward, and let's try to find a way to win this football game and impact this football game if we're in the crowd. Now, I just mentioned Tennessee. You're watching that tape against Michigan if you're getting ready for Ohio State, and you probably are already today. You can do what Michigan did to Ohio State if you're Tennessee. You can. And that's not me saying anything of what Michigan has from a personnel perspective. I also wouldn't be so irresponsible to assume that emotion didn't play a massive factor in Michigan bringing that extra juice to the table. But, like, Dylan Sampson is a better running back than anyone that Michigan has on their roster. Full stop. Nico Iamaleava, for all of his faults and all the things that we've asked more of him from in this situation, in this game, in this season, he can do better than 9 for 16 for 62 yards and 2 interceptions. He can. Now, I do think it's worth noting you probably have to still be able to have something from him vertically to be able to challenge that Ohio State defense and try to create an honest box against the run game. I think that's fair to say, but there is definitely opportunity here if you're Tennessee to look at the Michigan tape and say, okay, they were physical, they went smash-mouth football, they had success. We can do that. We like our guys just as much as Michigan probably likes their guys. All right? Now, the Penn State game is interesting to watch when you watch them against Ohio State because that Penn State front really struggled to stop the Ohio State run. And Chip Kelly, with a makeshift offensive line, attacked the perimeter and got creative. I think the Tennessee front needs to be able to still bring that same level of swarm. Feels like a funny word to use here, but I think it applies. Like, you got to make sure you put this game on Will Howard. And that's not me speaking anything of Will Howard. Like, that's just the kind of way you want to play if you're Tennessee. So, again, going back to the way that you can win this game if you're Tennessee, there's examples on tape out there. There is. Now, for Will Howard, this is your game, brother. We put a lot of pressure on Nico, and that's fair, but like this is your game. Now, I just spoke to the front of Tennessee. I think the matchup that you like, pretty much any game, but especially this game now where you got to have it in a playoff game, is your players on the perimeter against Tennessee secondary. Now, I say you like it in the sense that you just bet on your guys every single day, but like Tennessee's a good secondary. All right, they're top 15 in America when it comes to yards allowed per game through the air. So this is the spot now where Will Howard brought you in for a reason to be a difference maker, whether it's him in the design quarterback run game, whether it's him ad-libbing, whether it's him pushing the ball downfield. We need something for you to be a difference maker to allow us to win a football game at home. Because the opportunity for both sides is massive. If you're Ohio State and you win this football game after the Michigan loss, what a chill pill that is for just everyone in that building and that fan base to say, okay, that sucked. We never want to experience that again. However, we're moving on to the next round of the college football playoff. Our goal of winning a national title is still intact. Kind of flush that out of your system for good, and you're dangerous at that point moving forward as a fan base and as a team. If you're Tennessee now, this is a chance to announce yourself as a Tier 1 team in college football because you've beat Bama 2 of the last 3 years. The Georgia games haven't gone how you would like them to, but Tennessee's still been in that mix every single year. Every single year. They have been in the mix now 2 of the last 3 years for the college football playoff picture in November. All right, now if you go win a game in the college football playoff and you beat a brand like Ohio State at their place after the season you've had already, what's anyone saying about Josh Heupel and what he can accomplish in Knoxville? What's anyone saying about what you can't do at Tennessee? I think that turns down the volume on all of the excuses as to why Tennessee can't go do great things, win a national championship. So there's a lot to unpack within this game. We'll give you our pick in this game a little bit later as the game gets closer on this channel. Make sure you're subscribed. All right, want y'all a part of this. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We can't wait for this game. We're going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.